What have working comics been doing while like introducing each other on stage? Like,
It's just walk by each other. It's kind of like you said, it's like a head nod or a bow.
yeah, okay.
Because yeah, and also the only professional shows I've done have been like with Lori Kilmartin, whose mom died of COVID,
Yeah, I
and then with Louis Anderson, who can't touch anybody or anything, or because he's scared of COVID. So like, I'm
yeah.
with the two like most scared people. I've been with the two most scared people in comedy as far as professional shows. So there's zero touching. There was hand sanitizing. As you got on, everybody had their own mics.
Yeah. God,
That's what
it's
Flappers drive through. They just kept on plugging them, I believe. I don't remember if they were wireless or not, but
okay,
I
okay, so
think you got done and you unplugged your mic and left the cord in the stand and got off stage. And then the other comic would come on and plug theirs in, and then they would have a second mic that would be off to the side that was just for the host.
okay. Yeah, for comedy rhetoric, we've been spraying down the one microphone with disinfectant, which
Yeah.
it sounds less safe. However, it's like 90% alcohol.
Oh, I
Like
believe
you.
it's super safe for people. I assume your mics are gonna die every 3 months because you're
Okay, so
filling
far,
them with yeah, it's more or
yeah,
less a technical issue at that point with spraying the mics. I've seen shows do that and I'm like, there's no way those mics can last.
yeah, because it is it's something I read like once the alcohol gets on the little I forget it's like the equivalent of an eardrum. I forget what the word for the technical term is on the microphone, but once that gets like in contact with the alcohol, at that point you ruin your mic.
Oh, really? So yeah,
Yeah,
so it could get ruined.
yeah, it can, and
Yeah, it
but
probably
yeah,
will.
you smell that alcohol, like it hits you.
Hmm.
Yeah.
How is comedy rhetoric doing at the second go around?
Okay, it's so the first week we did it, it was a good turnout. Last week we had to cancel because of possible rain.
Yeah.
Like it's surprising how many people want to see live comedy given the circumstances.
Who I mean, everybody kind of needs to laugh right
Yeah,
now. Everybody's been so high strung with the election and the stay at
yeah.
home and then the second stay at home. I'm sure like once everything comes back, it's everywhere's going to be full. Even those rooms that were super dead, people will be like, you know what, let's
Oh,
just go.
I hope. I like to believe that starting. I heard July August is when
Yeah.
clubs would be able to reopen. I think LA could potentially be on the brink of a comedy renaissance like you wouldn't believe.
I'm
And
excited for it. I'm
yeah,
excited for comedy when it comes back. I'm excited that a ton of people who weren't funny and we're half foot in it,
yeah,
taking up a lot of stage time, all moved back home. I don't
yeah,
know people specifically, but I know a lot of people moved
yeah,
back home. So
yeah.
that's super great. And then now the people who really want to do it and stuff are
Yeah.
here and everybody's craving it.
Also, no, like this is no disrespect to people like Joe Rogan or Tony Hinchcliffe, but with them in Texas, I think that's going to alleviate a huge bottleneck at the store that's been going on ever since Kill Tony blew up.
Yeah. Yeah. All those guys didn't need the coolest stage in the world to
Yeah,
perform, but basically a place that was designed to hone and create as
yeah,
opposed to being the workout gym for the best of the best,
yeah.
which LA has been for the last, I guess, I mean, I've only been here 2 years, but I heard the last 5 to 7 years, LA has just been a workout gym for the top dog. So I'm excited that it'll go back to being what I've heard all the stories about it being, like the way to get your chance.
Okay. I
Yeah.
I hope so. And I hear stories. Granted, it was a much different time for the comedy store and not the most financially lucrative for them. But like back like in the mid 2000s, like maybe 40 people were signing up for potluck every week. And then
Yeah.
like that number dramatically shifted once Rogan came back, and then even more when Kill Tony blew up.
Kill Tony took over and all that stuff. Yeah, it's so crazy because I was quarantined with Louis Anderson for most of it, and
Okay.
hearing his stories of the comedy store, he would be like,
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes you wouldn't even get up that week at potluck and you'd have to come back the next week. He's
That,
like,
that, that,
you'd get on a show or two and they'd be like shitty shows.
yeah.
And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, always.
It was the worst. Yeah.
And that's how he spun it. And I'm like, you can't get up there anymore. And
Yeah.
he just can't even fathom what it is now.
Yeah. I think I told you this already, but he was very well spoken in the Comedy Store docuseries about. I love hearing stories of working people being told no, and then just like managing to pull it off, like getting on the Tonight Show. That's rad.
Oh yeah, because he got
Yeah.
told no a bunch of times.
Yeah,
He got told from the booker that they were never gonna book him. He was like, no, you're just not what I'm looking for ever. And then I guess what he told me is someone fell out either the day before or the day of,
yeah.
and he was available. Like
Okay.
they called him and they're like, it's a fallout. If you want to be on the Tonight Show, you have to be on it tomorrow.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, one of those type deals.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and then he had probably one of the best late night sets of all time that night.
Yeah, it's up there. Yeah.
Yeah,
I would put Roseanne Barr like on that caliber.
Yeah, because they went on tour right after. And this is the crazy thing about comedy, which I got to learn from him, is how much money they made in the 80s.
Yeah, it was very, very different time.
He took me right above the Comedy Store. He didn't live in the legendary Comedy Store house. He lived 3 houses down, but he took me up there and he's like, I used to own that house in the early 90s, late 80s. And I go, oh, cool. He goes, yeah, I did 25 dates with Roseanne. And I was like, if I did 25 dates with Roseanne right now, I would get to have a 1-bedroom apartment in LA.
Yeah, that's insane.
Maybe. Probably a studio. Yeah. I'm like,
Yeah.
the amount of money you guys were making was so crazy.
A lot of that, it has to do combination of we are oversaturated with comics right now.
We're oversaturated with entertainment.
No, yeah, I could see. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
YouTube. I think now even something like this, like there are so many people doing video podcasts.
There are.
Yeah, but we're just like oversaturated, and for that we are undervaluing the art.
Yeah, we'll just all do it for free now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
But yeah.
But we do it for free in hopes that one day we'll get to do it for what we're actually worth, and then more than that to make up for when we are doing it for free.
Oh yeah,
that's the weird thing about comedy is like you don't start making your money back for like 20 years because you take the first 10-ish to start getting paid, and then you work your way up the ranks, and then you get paid at a level where it kind of is just paying you back for all the times you didn't.
Oh yeah. God, it's so depressing. I was talking to a friend who he's done very well for himself. He's been on Conan, and like I remember I remember he was telling me about how like he's still in the red from doing comedy, even though like he's been on TV, he's been on like he does road work, and that's such like. Oh, I really don't want this to be a net loss. Like, if breaking even is my life's goal, like, it's sad, but...
Dude, I had a friend who did Conan and then flew back the same night so he could work his shift the next afternoon at a restaurant.
God. That's a
he was like, I have a dinner shift and I'm doing Conan that Thursday, so I need that Friday shift, so I have to fly right back.
God. Do you listen to Marin?
Yeah, I listened to Marin.
Okay. Did you listen to the episode with Zach Braff?
Oh, yeah, I did listen to that one.
No, because he said he told a really funny story about how, like, when he moved to L.A., he booked one of his first independent films while waitering at a restaurant, and he remembers, like, serving people who just got out of the premiere, and it was just like, oh, this, like you were in the movie. I loved your performance, and like how like humiliating it was, and like also how like he would go on general meetings and then go to work, and then he would end up serving the guy like wine, like who he had the meeting with. Like he would just randomly come into the restaurant. It's like, ugh, talking about how great
I
life is in
I've
LA.
had that happen. I do New Year's with Louis every year. We do 2 shows at this theater. It sells out both shows, 1,200 people. I was bartending at the airport in Minneapolis. I worked New Year's Day that morning at 6 a.m. My first 4 guests that came in for drinks were at the show and took pictures with me. I had to go get my boss to take a picture of all of us.
That that sucks,
He was
but
like, "Why
but it
are you
sucks and
here?"
awesome at
And
the same time. Yeah,
I'm like, I don't know, man, because I need to pay. I'm like, that show paid a ton of money, but I don't have a show like that for another month.
yeah,
It's like I can't float on a few good shows that pay well. I need to pay all my bills, and I need something constant and medical insurance and stuff.
oh yeah, and God, it's kind of an awakening right now for me, as far as like a lot of working comics during the pandemic. They were technically independent contractors, so they didn't qualify for unemployment.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, that's why I'm so happy since being here. I had a day job because I didn't for a couple years in Minnesota when I was just road
okay,
working. And if that would have hit, I would have been screwed. I mean, you can't bring the government a spreadsheet on Excel to show your mileage and money.
yeah, wow.
You're
The
not getting W-2s from most of the clubs unless you make 5 grand at the club and you're only working a club once, maybe twice a year. Like they're not going to send you a W-2. You just got to kind of figure that stuff out yourself.
Yeah, I just see the accounting with it. That's yeah, I can't imagine like as far as someone like I've never like I've driven out of LA for shows, but like I can't imagine like pulling off something like a triple run and just like
Yeah.
taking into account like I can't like I have no idea how to account for stuff like mileage and like gas expenses. Yeah,
You don't factor in gas. It's just 58 cents a mile, I believe it still is.
okay.
So like for a triple run, you'd look at from your house to, Washington to that Dayton, Idaho. That Dayton, Idaho, I believe it goes into Wyoming or like the cusp of Montana and then like
I
back
think yeah, it's
around.
Montana, I
And
believe.
then you just factor, yeah. And then you factor all that in and then
Yeah.
you add that up and then, your pay.
Yeah. Which yeah, I hear it's a rewarding set of shows, but yeah, it's definitely a lot of responsibility. Yeah. What
It's a lot of breaking even on
yeah.
that show too, on the triple run.
Yeah. So what yeah, I'm looking at your Weezer shirt.
What was that?
Oh, okay, my internet connect. Okay, there we go. That that
There we
made
go.
me
Now I
nervous.
gotcha.
Okay.
What
No,
what what
what
Weezer tour is
yeah,
this
what
from?
Weezer
This is from the
memories?
Memories tour.
Okay. Right
They
on.
they did like 10 dates and they would play 2 shows one after the other. They played the Blue Album one night and then Pinkerton one night.
Okay, that's definitely that's a show I would like to go to if they played it. Like that's a perfect Weezer show. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So they play a full set and they did it really cool. They did it kind of like an anthology.
Yeah.
Like Rivers came out and he's like years, I think this tour was in like 2012. So
Okay.
he was like 2009, Make Believe, and then they played 2 songs from Make Believe and they'd like count down and he'd play a song from each and then it'd get to Blue Album and he would just start with My Name is Jonas and they'd play it all the way through.
Wow.
And
Did
then they did that with Pinkerton as well.
okay, for sure. Did you hear
Opening band was the School of Rock.
the School of Rock? Wow.
Came out
Like,
and played they played 2 Weezer songs that Weezer didn't play. So it was
yeah.
really cool to see a bunch of 8-year-olds playing El Scorcho.
That's awesome.
I know this kid who was playing guitar, I'll never forget his face, but he had that Jack Black scene in the movie School of Rock. He had that rock face on the whole time, just
Nice.
staring at the crowd. And I'm like, this kid is playing for 10,000 people and he will never have a cooler moment.
God. Did you hear the new Weezer song?
Which one?
It's
I have
all
not
my
heard.
favorite songs, they make me sad. Yeah, that's
Oh yeah,
the-
yeah, I did hear
yeah.
that one.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, that one
It's,
and My Piano are the two new ones from that album, right?
Yeah, it's I think at the end of the month it's due out. It might be out already. Yeah, okay, human.
Yeah.
This is the first Weezer record in a while that I'm like excited about. I had a
Oh, you mean
friend.
you didn't like the album where they?
Yeah, there's so many. No, like yeah, the last. I think it was like the White Album is the one that I really liked. The one with California
White Album was
Kids.
great. Their covers album, yeah, their cover album besides Africa was not great. I felt like they did nothing to any of the songs.
Yeah, I think they did. They performed them as Weezer songs, and Weezer to begin with, they're very similar to all those bands.
Yeah, it kind
Which,
of was like, oh, this is just Rivers singing karaoke at this point.
yeah, yeah, but that album, that cover album put them to an all new level. That was the first time in their careers that they sold out Madison Square Garden.
Really?
Yeah, which
Was
is a
it was it mainly due to like the covers to
yep,
Aha and Africa by
yeah,
Toto?
yeah,
Africa was huge, and the music video's fun because it has Weird Al in it. But
yeah. Wow. No, but it's just insane because that's like a band with like such longevity. And bear in mind, like the Blue Album is one of those records that like are almost on the level of Nevermind. Like not much is on the level of Nevermind, but like that was an album that really changed the face of alternative music in a lot of ways. But that
oh
wasn't
yeah,
what.
I could.
Yeah,
That's an album that I never pick a song on. I just listen to the album as
oh
one
yeah.
whole thing.
I think Only in Dreams is an incredibly underrated song. But yeah, it's like that whole
Super good.
yeah, that whole record. And yeah, I like Pinkerton is great. I was listening to a little bit of some of the B-sides earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got
That
yeah. No, you're saying something?
Oh, I was saying, yeah, that have you ever listened to the Rivers like B-side tapes that he put out?
I have not. Was this
I know
part of Songs of the Black Hole?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just a bunch of like B-sides. He just put out a bunch of junk that I think he had on his computer that were almost songs, and he's like, let's just release all this, see if people like it.
Okay, right on. Wow. Yeah, I was talking to my friend Justin, who's a singer of a band in Brooklyn. He's a huge Weezer fan. I through that episode, I just got him into this band. You ever listen to a band called That Dog?
No, but I'll write it down.
Okay, so do you know the B-side? I just threw out the love of my dreams.
Yeah. Yeah, I know
Okay, yeah.
that.
The girl who sings in that song, her name is Rachel Hayden. She plays bass in That Dog. And That Dog, they released an album in 1997 called Retreat from the Sun. And
Yeah.
I swear to God, it is the most underrated album of the 90s. Like
First
by
song-
miles.
First song on there, their most popular song is called Minneapolis, which is where I'm from.
Okay, so yes, yeah. Oh no, you're looking up That Dog. Right? I was like, okay. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. That Dog, Minneapolis. Love it. I'll check it out.
Yeah, dude. Like, say if you're into like vocal harmonies, like it's
Yeah.
very, like I have no idea what like no band sounds like them, but they definitely like fall a little bit towards the Weezer side of alternative rock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I'll definitely enjoy it.
Yeah, one of my favorite albums. Well, what music's been getting through? What music's been getting through? What music has been getting through the you know what I'm asking?
What have I been listening to throughout the pandemic?
Yes.
The thing I really want to shout out, because this got me through a lot of the beginning when I was super depressed, was every week Goldfinger did they would play their songs but quarantine edition. So
yeah.
everybody was somewhere else. And they were playing and putting out these videos of all their big songs. And
dude,
it was
Superman.
so fun. Yeah, Superman, in your bedroom, obviously 99 Red Balloons, Spokesman, all that stuff. And they were putting them out, and it was really cool, and it really got me through because they put it out every week.
Yeah.
So it just turned into something to look forward to. And I'd be damned if I didn't say that was the number one thing that I was happy about musically this whole pandemic.
Yeah. And
with that.
something like I haven't been like a diehard Goldfinger fan in years, but
Nobody's a diehard Goldfinger fan, but they're a great late
oh
90s, early 2000s Warp Tour band, and that was my youth.
oh dude, yeah,
So,
hang ups in their self-titled still solid albums.
yeah. I know Less Than Jake put out an album this year that I've only
Very, very
listened to
good.
once or twice. I know you
Okay.
love it.
Yeah.
But I've been listening to a lot of old Less Than Jake, like Science of Selling Yourself Short.
Yeah.
And all my friends are metalheads and stuff like that. So a
Good.
lot of that music from like, I guess like the Tony
Yeah.
Hawk video games would be the easiest way to
Yeah.
for people who aren't fans of like ska punk and mall
Yeah.
punk and skate punk and all that stuff. Like I've been listening to a lot of that because it brings me back. Because I don't know, we're all stuck at home like we're dumb teenagers.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna listen to music from when I was a dumb teenager and just skateboarded all day.
Yeah. But yeah, as far as like that, like the Superman, not even cover because Goldfinger
No, yes,
did it.
not a cover.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, it is 100% not a cover.
yeah.
But but like
I mean, it's a cover now because Goldfinger is
I think
a
John
shadow
Feldman
of
was, like,
who
the
they used to be.
last original
Yeah.
member.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think there's more members of MXPX in Goldfinger than there are of in Goldfinger.
That's really funny. Yeah, I did notice the bassist from MXPX. Oh, that's
Yes, the bassist lead singer of MXPX is now just the bassist of Goldfinger.
Yeah, but it's like I like that rendition of Superman. There's something about it tuned down a half step.
Yep.
There's something about it. I've been looking through for stuff throughout the pandemic that gives me optimism or gives me some sort of sense of resilience. And something about that rendition of Superman legitimately makes me feel like Superman and that we're going to get through this.
He really
we will.
digs into it too when he plays that the quarantine version when he says the world's falling down around me. Like,
Yeah,
he
exactly.
really enunciates it, and he motions it because he's already played guitar, so he can kind of do whatever he wants while he's singing as far as the tracking goes.
Yeah.
And he like puts his hands out, and I was like, oh, this is everything I need right now.
Oh, yeah. It's such like just whatever you could find to get you through this. Hold on to it because this has been a very things are getting better, but it's still
Yeah, it's still nothing.
some dark days ahead of us.
Yeah, we're not going to be out of this like you said till summer.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited because there are a lot of people doing stuff that does excite me too. Like everybody's trying to find a different way. You with this podcast,
Yeah.
you still going out and doing so much stuff. That is honestly what got me to start going out more. Is you? I would message you a lot, especially when I first started going out. Like, hey, I'm thinking about this mic. How safe is it? Because you'll always give an honest opinion.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of times like I was like, maybe I'm gonna go here, and you go, maybe you shouldn't, and I wouldn't.
And then there was is John Moskowitz still doing his? Because I know he's about to move back to New York, but is he still doing the baseball one?
No, that's all done. But,
Okay,
I mean, someone could bring it back. Yeah, someone should bring it back there because the spot's still there.
Yeah. It was probably the most COVID-safe mic, but it was unsafe for virtually every other reason. Because every time there was a windstorm, I was like, "Oh, a branch is gonna fall on us."
Oh yeah, it was full of dead trees, and there was like tetanus
Poison
all over
ivy.
the ground. Yeah,
It was, but that was that was one of my more favorite spots to hit in all of this.
that
And
was the one I started
also
with.
think- huh?
That was the one I started with going
Okay.
to, and then like Zoom stuff.
Yeah.
But no one has fun doing comedy on Zoom.
Yeah, I try to, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I do it to get the reps in.
Yeah, I think I have some concerns about it. Like, not that it's been an issue, like people recording your sets, but that hasn't been an issue. And I also host like an early mic on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at noon, and something people will ask me for permission to record, so if they could record their sets. It's never been an issue so far.
That's good. That's good that people have been asking though.
Yeah. I just don't like something. There are a lot of mics, a lot of even venues are like uploading footage of people's sets, and I think that's like an absolute no.
Yeah, there's a comedy club here that has one of my sets on there from when I won, I believe, the semifinals of their comedy contest. They just
Okay,
threw my set right up on their YouTube.
without permission.
No one
Did,
asked me. I assume that I signed something in the booking agreement. I don't know because I don't read
yeah,
booking agreements.
yeah.
I don't like that I said that publicly, but you know what? I don't read any booking agreements. I'm gonna
Yeah.
start though after I said this. Bookers.
I already know the club.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, my set's up there, and because they have enough traction, when you YouTube search my name, that comes up
Yeah.
first, and it kind of irritates me because they don't mic the crowd. And my video that I have that I paid for to get made myself has the crowd mic'd and a mic in the amp, so you could hear. It's basically an album recording.
Okay. Why not? I'm trying to think of a solution to that problem.
I could probably next time perform there tell them to take the fucking video down.
That, or you could try to get your video with more traction, more hits.
My video has 10,000 more views than their video, and still for some
Nope,
reason
still okay.
it still sits second because I think their page has more subscribers. I think
Yeah.
that's where the issue lies. So everybody listening to this podcast, please go subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Yeah, mine as well. I haven't been pushing subscriptions enough, and it's frustrating. Like I've uploaded. I'm like 2 episodes in since my last subscriber, and that's frustrating. And I also, something I learned the other day is that not Google, YouTube, or technically
YouTube is Google. Yeah.
yeah. But YouTube, they updated their algorithm so that if somebody subscribes to your channel and doesn't watch at least a minute of your content within the first 24 hours, the subscription gets lost.
Really?
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, which in some ways, like, I think it's sort of a good thing because at least they're trying to reward people with quality content.
Yeah, and they're starting, I don't know if you know this, but they're starting YouTube Shorts. So they're trying to kick TikTok out of the world.
Okay, which I think might be doable. Yeah.
It very much is. People
Yeah.
are on the fence on TikTok anyways. I went viral on TikTok this weekend. I had a video that got 500,000 views where I talked about
Congratulations.
shitting my pants.
You want to know what my TikTok my TikTok life is like? I uploaded the video of me playing Airbase to Shaggy. I uploaded that to TikTok.
Probably a billion views.
Nope, they removed it because I didn't have permission from the artist. That's all TikTok is. It's just people doing air to TikTok.
Dude, yeah, it's people doing air everything. People do air comedy, people do air
Yeah.
music, people do dances to people's songs that aren't, that they're not getting paid for.
Yeah, maybe I didn't use the version through their system.
I think they want you to use their version. Yeah. I have a buddy who has an album out, and that's how I found out about TikTok. This was well over a year ago, but he was like, "Oh, people are acting out my bits." What? And I was like, "This isn't going to last." And then now it's like one of the biggest apps.
Okay, wow. It's that's where I've heard of that. At least is he credited in like the
audio at the bottom, kind of like Shaggy would be.
Yeah.
For you air basing Shaggy, yeah, he's credited that much, but he gets no residuals.
Okay.
Because it's like under 30 seconds or something. He doesn't know how it's legal, but somehow it is.
Okay, that could very well change. Something in the past, I would argue, it was around 2006, 2007. Whatever album you wanted to download, you could find it on Mega Upload or Mediafire.
Yeah.
Which that's changed. Like the whole model has shifted, and they really came down. What was it? A Capital Millennium Act?
Yeah.
I almost said the Millennium Falcon Act, but that's not it.
You mean where they took away things like Pirate Bay and Napster and all that stuff just completely, that whole industry went away? Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's something. Because I feel that the entertainment industry has more power. I think they have more lobbying power with Congress to really address that right out of the gate.
Well, I mean, if you really broke down something like that, it would it could completely topple it, because all you need is one person to buy an album and then they could share it with everyone in the world.
Oh yeah. And I've
Which is,
also heard stories of like press people, like they'll get an album, they'll get an advanced copy of an album to review it, and like it'll leak for whatever reason. But I think record labels, what they do is they leave some subtle watermark so they know exactly where the album came from, who they gave it to, and
yeah.
who dropped the ball.
I remember being in like the early 2000s, being able to download albums before they came out. I think I
Yeah.
had an Eminem album like a month before it came out.
Oh yeah, there was a couple of bands that I got into through like Napster,
Yeah.
and
And
yeah,
you know what?
now
Those bands don't exist anymore, Ian, because
Yeah,
you
because-
stole all of their stuff and they couldn't make any money, and then they had to get jobs at Quiznos.
oh, now I have Google Play, or now I have YouTube Music. I had Google Play, and it's very like they make something like some tiny non-existent fraction of a penny per play.
Yep. Yeah, I have Spotify, and I know from my friends who have record deals that they get like, it's like 0.2 cents per
Yeah,
play
something
per song.
laughable.
Yeah. It's something where you have to get like 20 to get a quarter or something like that.
Okay.
It,
Because it is bit like bands, they have to tour, and like something with the model, like as far as like the touring model goes, like a band like NoFX, for example, they set up a system. I don't think NoFX has been on a proper tour now in maybe 5 to 10 years. Like they set up their own music festivals, and like they basically they make their own paycheck.
yeah, well, they've always have. I mean,
Yeah.
Fat Records.
Yeah.
I saw NoFX at the Triple Rock.
Oh wow, seeing double at the Triple Rock.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
playing the week I moved to Minneapolis
Okay.
from Phoenix, and I was like, I saw it, and I was like, I love that song, and they're playing there. I got to go see it.
Okay. Who are the
And
openers?
I don't remember. I was so drunk.
God, yeah, that sounds about right for a
I
NoFX
haven't
show.
drinking. I haven't drinking 4 years, but like, this was my early 20s, and I was blasted. I know Patty was there, even
Yeah,
though
that-
Patty didn't work at that bar. He worked at a different bar that had comedy twice a week.
Yeah, Grumpy's.
The guy who, Grumpy's.
Yeah, I know what time it is, Minneapolis.
You do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grumpy's.
No, but
Grumpy's is now shut down, but it was the worst open mic in the country. And it
okay.
was known as that, and comics who played Acme loved to go there after their shows on Wednesday. I remember driving Todd Glass there
God.
because I did a guest set for him, and we got off stage and the show ended, and he goes, "Hey, is today's the day that really fucking horrible open mic is going on?"
Oh,
And I'm
God.
like, "You mean Grumpy's?" He goes, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's still there. It still sucks. There's no one watching, and it's like 5 comics in the back and 15 outside smoking." He goes, "Can we go?" And I'm like, "If you want me to take you, Todd." And we went to Grumpy's.
Wow.
And he did a set for 2 people in the room. I think all the comics came in once they saw that Todd Glass was on stage, but
Was Patty
wanted to-
bartending?
no. I think he was managing. He usually, at the time the open mic would go on, he'd just be walking around. So he might have been managing.
Okay.
Because also I've seen him managing, like, because he would manage and bartend, but
Yeah.
like he would always be drinking while working too. So
Yeah.
it was one of those things where it's like, is he off?
Yeah. Because like I barely drink at this juncture of my life, but one of my goals is to go to be in Minneapolis and have him serve me a double whiskey Coke, no ice.
That would be cool. That would be cool.
But yeah, it's like like one of the first times, not one of the first times. It was like maybe in like 2006. I saw it was 2 nights in a row. NoFX, Dillinger 4 was the feature band, and opening was the Flatliners when they first got signed to Fat. I don't know if you're a fan.
I know who they are. That's a cool show. That's a really great
like
show.
That's one of those things. It's like I wish I had a time machine so I could relive it.
Yeah. But isn't that the cool part? Is you got to see it when you weren't old?
Yeah.
That's how
Or
I
is
feel
it?
about most bands. I'm like, I wish I could go back and see them. And I'm like, I think seeing them in my youth was the cool
Yeah.
thing.
Even I talked about this the other day. The last band that I saw before the pandemic was D4, and if I could go back in time, I would have put in a much bigger concerted effort to have fun. Because I
Yeah.
remember, like, I wasn't in the best mood that night. I was just grumpy, sad. And if I knew that within 2 weeks, our entire world would change at least for the next year and a half, that's something I would like. I don't know. I feel like there's so much I took for granted before this.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the
Yeah.
last show I saw was I went to the Eddie Money tribute concert.
Okay. Right on.
That was fun. Louis hosted it cuz Louis was really good friends with Eddie.
Okay.
So I went with Louis. I got to hang out backstage cuz I know Eddie's son Dez. He's cool. And yeah, I just got to see a bunch of old rock stars play Eddie Money songs. And then before that, I saw the pop punk emo band Census Fail.
I know of Census Fail. I've
Yeah.
listened to a couple songs. I don't like. I couldn't tell you a Census Fail song if you held a gun to my head, but
But I saw
yeah.
him in Arizona, which is where I
Yeah.
went to high school and college. So I saw him with all my friends I used to go to Warp Tour with. So, but
Gotcha.
also kind of like you said, we were kind of like, oh, we're old guys now. We're gonna stand in the back and just kind of watch it. I think
Yeah.
I would have made it if I would have known that that was arguably the last time I may ever see that band, and with all my friends, and that
Yeah.
it was gonna be closed for a year, a year and a half, the whole country. I would have made sure to have more fun.
Oh yeah. Like, and then there was the fact that who yeah, in February I saw the Toasters 40th anniversary show, and Mustard Plug was on that.
Yeah.
Like
And did you?
that's a hot show, and like I would have been skanking in a little circle like crazy if I knew.
Yeah, but you thought you'd be able to go see another band the next month. That's all you
Yeah.
thought. That's all we all thought. Same thing. Think about the last 5 sets you had before everything shut down.
Oh yeah.
You didn't
I'm
treat them like
still
it was the last time you were going to do indoor comedy. I guarantee that.
100%. Like Josh Adam Myers once told me, once told a bunch of comics to treat every set like it's your last. And
That
that's
is
something that's been
that's
giving
super
me.
sage advice.
Yeah,
That's really cool
okay.
to hear. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
love that.
cuz like March 11th is a day that I will remember the trajectory of events that day as long as I live, like what stages I was going to. I remember, I don't know if you ever done a Wino Vino.
Yeah, I love that place.
Okay. Still open, which I'm really happy about. Sometimes I go on long drives and I'll just pull up in front of something just to see something familiar or to know that it's still open. And Owino Vino, they're getting through this, which I'm happy about.
I live 5 minutes away from there. I love that place. I
Okay.
go to that's one of the main staple open mics. I
Yeah.
go to what is their Wednesday open mic.
Yeah. It was the Wednesday open. That was I got there. That was when people were like, this COVID thing, it's legit. I'm losing thousands of dollars worth of work.
I was at that show with you. I was
We're-
at that open mic because remember Kayla gave me extra time because I was running my Amazon set.
That's
I was supposed to-
okay. Wow.
I was supposed to shoot for Amazon that next week. I was supposed to shoot Laugh After Dark.
Okay, wow.
Because I did that. She put like you went first and I went second, and then I went to Geeky Tiki or Geeky
Okay.
Teas, and then I ran the set again.
I went to Mia's Hot Dogs like between like I was on my way to the Ice House. I went to Mia's Hot Dogs. That was closed. Thought nothing of it. I got to the Ice House and there was a sign on the gate that said like open mic tonight canceled. Come back next week. And I didn't think of anything of it. And then I drove out to Cinema Bar on the west side of LA. I don't know if you ever did that. You ever been
I've
to
never
Cinema?
done.
Oh,
I don't
God.
do much West Side stuff. Is it good?
It was good. I don't know what's gonna be like after this. Fingers crossed. Dude, the Monday night mic was like my favorite. So Cinema Bar is something that I loved about that place is that on Monday nights there was a band like like a folk gypsy band almost. They had an accordion player, a stand-up bass player, and it was like
Cool.
a residency every week. And the people who were there for the band, they would stick around to watch the mic, and they were very, very supportive. Typically, occasionally we would have like a drunk heckler, but it was always in good fun.
Yeah.
But like there was something like there was no atmosphere like that for an unestablished. I would equate that. I don't know if you ever got to do blah 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 at our bar.
I have not, but I know of it.
Okay, because it was much like that. It had like the same tone, the same aesthetic, the same atmosphere, the same kind of bar.
Okay.
And so like I got to the Wednesday night mic, and I remember like that was when was starting to hit the fan. That was when Tom Hanks, like breaking news, he tested positive for COVID. The NBA canceled their season.
Yep.
Just like the energy of the entire world, just like everything went sideways.
Yeah, and then that Friday, everything shut down.
Oh yeah, and God, at that point, I went to two more mics that night. Wednesday, any sane person would have gone home, but I was like, you know what? I went to Art Bar, Maria Bruguera's mic. And then I went to, I don't know if you've ever been to, what's the one on La Brea? God, Nathan Fisher hosted it.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Berkshire
I don't know
House.
it.
Berkshire
Yeah,
House,
I've been to that one. Yeah.
And that was like when things like settled in. He had rubber gloves on. He was spraying them. Like this was a good indication of what comedy was going to be like in the COVID era. Once we were able to feel safe enough to do it, because I did not for a while.
No, I didn't start going out again because I was in Vegas till late July, but I performed the last two shows I did. I drove Louie home to Vegas. I did a guest set at the Laugh Factory to run my TV set. And then the last set I did was at Jimmy Kimmel's the day before Vegas shut down.
God.
And it felt like the end of the world. Like there was just an atmosphere in the casino and in the showroom that was like, this is the last time. Everybody was partying like it was the last time. And I really didn't want to, even at that point, I didn't want to believe it. I was like, all these people are dumb. I was like, all these people are acting like this is the last time. In 3 weeks, we'll all be able to go out again. That was my mindset the whole time, was 3 weeks to a month and a half.
Oh my God. And one of my, like, looking back at it, like, I remember doing comedy. There was probably like a 6-day window between March 11th and March 19th when so it's easily countable. That's 5
days.
So I can't count, but
7 days.
7 days. Okay. But there was that window. It was a very, very divisive issue. Should comics be doing comedy in the first place? Like, is it dangerous? Or are we going to be getting people sick? And I remember it was very, very heated. Like, a lot of people I know had falling outs with other comics. And something I'm never going to forget, there was a video that somebody posted to their Instagram about like, oh, we should be taking time off. Like, you're risking the safety of others. And then they said something along the lines of, besides, it wouldn't kill you to take 2 weeks off. And it's like,
that's not what we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, that's what a lot of us thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Nope.
This is going to be 2 weeks, and then we'll all be back, and we'll all be good.
Just like this whole, my first setback was in May, and like I was talking a little bit of this about in the previous podcast with Kat Alvarado. Like I was talking, like my first set was at a place called Therapeutic Noise in Long Beach. I don't know if you know Joe Bando.
Yeah, I know
okay,
Joe Bando.
Yeah, he's a character.
Yeah,
but
he doesn't believe COVID's real, right?
No, he does not. But
Yep. I met him at Brutta's. And
yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
I was sitting by him with my mask. He goes, "Why even wearing a mask? It's not real." And I'm like, "Not sitting by you anymore."
Yeah.
Very real. There's many dead people.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's but like he reopened Therapeutic Noise, which is like a fourth wall Bert's backroom type place.
Okay.
And like with all of his flaws, with all of his bullshit, which I totally get.
Yeah.
At least it was donation based. He wasn't charging comics who were out of work.
Okay. He wasn't like.
Yeah.
Yeah. He wasn't like, you have to pay me $5 even though you don't have it.
Yeah. But I would donate money anyways because it was like he had to keep the lights on. But something I was scared to death of a couple things. One, that I have forgotten all of my material. Two, that I was going to get sick. That's a pretty big one in all this. And then I was afraid that, what if we get raided? What if we get arrested? Because it was a very different time. Like now, like nobody's going to do if you do comedy outside or anywhere.
No one
like
cares.
No
one cares.
Yeah. But like it was scary. Like what if the cops came in and we like got arrested and he was like, yeah, I know a bondsman who will get us out. And it's like, oh, okay, this is all right. This is a lot like the movie Jackie Brown. Like, all right,
yeah. It's like Lenny Bruce without being Lenny Bruce.
Yeah.
Like you got arrested doing comedy for a dumb reason.
I will say, like something that I learned like early on. Stand-up comedy is one of the few forms of expression that I am willing to get arrested for. Just on the grounds that it is one of the last forms of free speech that isn't like molded or dictated by a social media algorithm. Which I think and music. There are a lot of art forms, but I'm talking like you could be in a room full of people, which I wouldn't go in a room right now if you paid me. But like as far as it is one of the only forms of free speech you won't like that I think is truly worth preserving. And I really mean that. But I bring this up like one of my biggest fears was forgetting all of my bits. I remember getting on stage like with my mask on, not even sure what to do, how to approach comedy in the COVID era.
Yeah. It's like, do you perform with it on or do you take it off when you get on stage?
I remember Connor Hingsleben, he shouted at me like, we can't hear you without your mask. I took the mask off and I was just like, it's been a crazy couple months. See, I had a bit of a crush on a comedian and I went right into the crush bit and everybody starts screaming like, oh, this is like, it's like going to see your favorite band and they play just like the opening riff of a song you haven't heard in a while.
Yeah.
That's what Connor equated it to.
The Roos back, baby.
Yeah. He's up
Love
to his
it.
bullshit. We're going to hear this bit a million times more.
Hey, but we love hearing it. That's the fun part about comedy. And
I can't do the bit in LA anymore.
I know. I'm with you though. I'm the same way. I'm approaching tomorrow will be 10 years since the first time I ever stepped on stage and performed stand-up comedy.
No kidding.
And I wouldn't trade it for anything. Yeah, the first 2 years I had a night serving job, so I only got up about once a week.
Okay.
And then I had some medical problems, so I was off for another year. But I'd probably say 2 years after that, after the first time I got on stage, after I switched the night job to a morning job, I was on stage every day.
Okay, right on. Like what the Minneapolis scene, is it a place where you could get up like 2 or 3 times a night, or is it like I would imagine much more? Okay.
Yep, 2 or 3 times a night.
Yeah.
And then they have 4 clubs. They have 4 major clubs that book major national touring headliners. Okay. So there's a lot of work to get as like a feature and an MC.
Yeah.
And they do full club weeks, and it's not like LA in the 80s. You can work at all the clubs if you're good enough.
Yeah.
There's no if you work at Acme, you can't work at House of Comedy and stuff like that. It's hey, get up where you can get up.
I see that. Yeah, it's definitely much harder to break into the clubs here because this is the most competitive city in the world, no matter what you are trying to do.
Yeah.
But as far as I think the days of the Hollywood Improv and the Comedy Store having this like weird rivalry that got heated to the point somebody set the fucking kitchen at the Improv on fire back in '79 during the comedy strike. Like that, for all the people who say that comedy has never been more divided, 1979. Like,
I think Louis told me he knows who did it. I think he
okay.
knows who did it because he moved to LA in '81, and he's like, yeah. And I was like the Improv getting set on fire and the Comedy Store getting their windows broken. He goes, oh, I know who did all that. He's like, we all knew, we just didn't tell, because he was a Comedy Store guy. He's like, we just didn't tell Mitzi.
Okay, yeah, I would imagine there's just so much, like that, like God, that, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, he said he's performed at like the Hollywood Improv like maybe in the last 10 years. He's like,
okay, still alive.
Because for the first so long, he's like, yeah, you just weren't allowed to.
Yeah.
He's like, probably up until the 90s, till Mitzi got sick. He's like, I just didn't feel comfortable. He's like, I'd play the Laugh Factory, but I'd really not want her to know. Or if I played the Laugh Factory or the Improv, I made sure I dropped in at the store.
Okay.
Just to show the loyalty. So it's not like I'm just playing this place in LA.
Yeah. Whereas nowadays, granted, I think every comedy club in LA has like a different voice that they're looking for. Like I think Comedy Store, like they seek out very assertive personalities, very likable people, whereas the Improv is more flowy. Like the Laugh Factory is more like jokey joke, like legitimate joke writing. Like some of those tapes that the Laugh Factory puts up, it's like, oh, this is incredible
Jokes.
joke writing. Like
Comedy and Magic's still clean.
Yeah, like more TV clean.
Yeah, I'm past that Comedy and Magic. I get to send them my avails. I don't know if that means I'm fully past, but they put me up like once every couple months.
Yeah, that's more than most people.
Yeah, that and the Improv. I just send my avails email, and then once I assume that they're not getting them, I'll get booked. Once I'm like, I don't even think anybody's reading any of this. Okay. They'll be like, can you do this date? And I'm like, yay!
But there are a couple people that they are making momentum at essentially. Like a guy like Bruce Gray, for example, I feel like he was like working all the clubs, door guy at the Comedy Store, and he emceeing at the Ice House, the Improv. I don't know if he was doing anything at the Laugh Factory, but yeah, it was just like it wasn't like a big thing. It wasn't like, what's this guy doing?
No, yeah, and I'm sure he would do sets at the Ice House or the Laugh Factory or the Improv and still go to work at the Comedy Store, and there was no issue. Yeah. And that was definitely not the case back in the day.
Yeah. And then you have a guy like Fraser Smith, who I think Fraser Smith is one of the only comics who I wouldn't consider him like an A-lister, but like works all the clubs. Like he's just like a legitimately.
He's a great host. Fraser Smith is a host. He is a hilarious comic. He knows how to kick off a show right. He knows that if there's a lull, he knows how to get the crowd right back. Yeah, he is a professional at running and hosting a show.
Yeah. That's how I'll know this pandemic is over. That I'll see Fraser Smith and I will see a finger snap. Like I will sob tears of joy. It'll be very disruptive to the show, but it'll be a very emotional moment for me.
I'll just love the moment where he goes, they're jokes, people. They're jokes. Keep up.
But it's just like he's just like a classically trained comedian who's just been doing this forever.
Like you said, it's jokes. Like he doesn't have stories. He tells jokes. He's monologue. He's late night. He's jokes.
Yeah, because that's I find myself going back and forth. Do I want to be the storyteller or do I want to be the joke writer? Which I think like audiences right now, like one of the good things about this podcast is that audiences look for authenticity and sincerity, and to know that who you are on stage is the same as who you are off. And I don't know. I just feel
I'm
go on.
As you know, I'm more of a storyteller, so I feel like it's very easy for me to say it, stay authentic, and because I'm just telling stories about my life on stage, and then when you hear me on a podcast, you're like, oh, that's the same guy. But like you said, for a joke writer, I'm sure it's super hard because you're just writing jokes.
Oh, yeah.
you're just writing things that you saw in the news, or like you're like, oh, watermelons are weird, and
Yeah.
um, and people don't really get to know you until they hear you on a podcast, and then I feel like it's like a double, it's like a two-lane entrance. If you, I can't think of a good analogy, but it's like they like your stage persona. Now they have to again decide if they like you as a person.
Oh yeah, and
But for
just
a storyteller, they're just like, I like that guy.
yeah, because I think there's something very engaging about being a good storyteller. If you are a compelling storyteller who's able to engage the audience, there's like you can't compete with that. Like that's
No.
like I would love to be like a guy like Matt Donaher, who I think he's one of the best joke writers in of the people that I know. Like all of his stuff is like very setup punch and also a rare combination of that it's like based in his character, but I can't do that. Like my output of joke writing is like it can't compete.
No,
Like,
I've tried to write
yeah.
one-liners and I've tried to write jokes, and it's like I've tried to do them, and then you're just like screwed because one, they every joke is like 30 seconds long, so you have to write at least 10 of them for a 5-minute set. And I wrote like 6 once, and I was like, oh no, I just have to go back to telling stories now
Oh
because
yeah.
I'm out. And this is you have to write so much, and not all of them are good. So it's like I have
Yeah.
to write 20 jokes to keep 7. I'm like, how about I just tell 2 stories or 3 stories and keep 1 or 2?
I also
Be
yeah. I also
way
find that
more.
my jokes are very hacky. I was going through like a flashcard phase. Like let me see if I have a flashcard here. I would this is an unopened set of flashcards where I would have a joke on it and it would be like, I just got cut off on the freeway. Last time I give that bartender a lift. Oh. And it was
Ah,
like they were
hey,
all like
yeah.
very hacky. Someone referred to that as being Andrew Nice Clay. And
Oh,
it's like,
Andrew
oh
Nice
that
Clay is the funniest thing I've ever heard in my whole
yeah.
life.
And that's funnier than any of the one-liners that I would write because I'm not
Uh,
that.
Ian, there's nothing funnier than Andrew Nice Clay. That's
Yeah,
the funniest thing I'll hear
really.
all day. That's the funny.
Like that that's like the equivalent. I don't know if you read the website Punk News.
Sometimes.
That's like a perfect Punk News comment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew Nice Clay wears cardigans.
Yeah.
He doesn't smoke. I'm trying to think about what he would do on stage that would be like good for the environment. That
Yeah.
wouldn't be smoking. It'd be like something good. Like he takes a like a wheatgrass shot halfway through his set. He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
Yeah.
ha."
Something gluten free in there. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Oh, Andrew Nice Clay.
Instead of like
Hickory
a
dickory
studded
dock. Your mother's beautiful and a great cook. Ow.
just like the instead of like a studded jacket, it would be like crystals, like kind of like an LA.
It would be just like an Elton John jacket.
Yeah. I was reading my horoscope. Oh, I don't.
Today's gonna be a great day with the chance of smiles. Boom!
Yeah, but yeah,
Beck and Jill went up the hill and they complimented each other.
yeah. And then there's observational comedy, which it's like I'm not good at because I feel like every observation has already been made.
I don't pay attention to enough stuff.
Yeah, like I think Jerry Seinfeld's like he was responsible for like a wave of young comics to try to be that, which I feel like I was a part of like the Louis era of like Louis C.K. like his
Yeah.
show, like he made comedy look so cool back in like
He definitely
2014.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's around the time I started too. So I
Yeah.
definitely remember. I saw Louis C.K. in 2007, 2008, and he was
Okay.
working out Chewed Up. I had no idea who he was. My friend suggested we go. It was like a Thursday at the Tempe Improv. He's like, this
Okay.
guy's super funny. He used to write for the Chris Rock show.
Yeah.
And we saw him, and his feature was Dan Mintz, who's Tina from Bob's Burgers. And it was one of the
Okay.
best stand-up shows I've ever
Yeah.
been to without knowing who either of them were.
It's so weird because like Louis C.K. like leading up to everything that happened, like he was, for all intents and purposes, the biggest comic in the world. Like
Yes.
maybe not up there with Chris Rock, but like definitely something that runs sort of. I don't think parallel's the right word, but yeah, he didn't really blow up until maybe like 6-7 years ago.
Yeah, and he blew up.
Oh yeah,
He went from not a lot to being everywhere.
yeah, like show running privilege.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
He yeah, because he had Louis, and then I believe he was the producer of 3 other FX shows.
yeah. One Mississippi and
Baskets,
yes.
and then there was one more that only lasted 1 season.
Okay,
And then he did which he basically put out himself, but Horace and Pete, which I love.
yeah. Oh yeah, Horace and Pete. Like I think it's just brilliant theater.
Yes.
Like I think it's very stripped down. I think it's a very simple show, but very like conflict driven.
I loved it. I loved
yeah.
It's so I didn't watch it till right after he got outed, and I was
Yeah.
like, God damn it! I want to
Yeah.
talk about Horace and Pete with everybody finally, but I can't.
Oh yeah, that's how I felt. I going back like pirating. Like if somebody there was a copy of what's it got I Love You Daddy that I found online and I was able to stream. And
Oh really?
Yeah.
Because that never came out, right?
Never did.
Yeah.
It was one at the time I wanted to talk about it, even though it was like very like disturbing given the circumstances.
Was it good?
I thought it was good, but it was very, very hard to digest given like it was. I watched it maybe like 3 months after the New York Times article broke when it was still very, very fresh.
Okay, so you were like, eh.
Yeah, and it was very. You could feel that the story was based on a lot of truth that was very. That it drew a lot of parallels towards a lot of the stories that it. Yeah, it was just a very I don't know. It was very unpleasant to digest.
Gross.
Yeah, like that's. Yeah, choose your heroes wisely, I guess.
Yeah, all your heroes are monsters. If your heroes are anybody in comedy.
Yeah, that's the thing that scares me because I would like to use this podcast one day as a platform to talk to people in bands and stuff and. Like bigger people, like if this ever gets an audience, like, dude, to talk to a guy like Joey Cape from Lagwagon would be cool.
Yeah, like you were saying, you really want to talk to Chris D'Elia,
yeah,
and you want to talk to.
Oh yeah.
You would love to talk to
Harvey Weinstein would be.
Yeah, Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah,
who else in music? Who in music recently?
Music.
R. Kelly. You'd like it? You
R. Kelly
R. Kelly?
would be great. The guy from Beach Slang. No,
yeah,
he has to share. The Burger Records
from,
people.
The lead singer from Brand New.
Yeah. Oh, the guy from Lost Prophets. We'll get a Zoom thing going through while he's in jail.
Yeah, I believe also in jail is the lead singer of Puddle of Mud. I believe he's still in jail.
Oh, he's not in jail. Is
he out now?
I saw him very recently at some like a coffee shop in North Hollywood that he lives like right behind.
Oh, that's good because we were when I bartended. I was one of the bartenders. I was on break, but when he got kicked out of the Minneapolis airport and arrested, I was working at that bar.
Oh,
I was on shift. I wasn't even there, but
starstruck.
I walk in and he was getting pulled out, and I was like, "What happened?" They're like, "That guy was too drunk. He's in a band."
Yeah. Wow. No,
and I was like, "Oh, rad."
I hear he's getting his together, which
that's good.
Happy about because I know I don't know. I feel for people like him. Like he was catapulted into the public eye. Maybe had some issues emotionally handling it.
Yeah,
I don't like. I'm not gonna speak for him, but like I don't know, but I know he sobered up and he's. Yeah, he has a little bit better of a life, which I'm happy for him for.
Good. It's good to see people have redemption too. I mean, as much as we just talked about people getting outed.
Yeah.
I don't think any of the people we named will have any redemption possibly. I couldn't see like any of those people getting back. I mean, the guy from Lost Prophets is probably never getting out of jail, right? That's the thing. Him and R. Kelly are probably in there forever.
Yeah,
Which is
I was randomly reading about Lost Prophets the other day. Yeah, that he's not. The bands will never ever want anything to do with him, even on the off chance he does get paroled. Like that's
yeah. Are they
and
still touring? Did they get a new lead singer?
they formed a band that's under a different name now. Like that's something you can't attach yourself with. Yeah,
So they did
can't
the same thing Miramax did.
I did. So yeah, I don't know. Like yeah, you can't attach yourself to kid diddling. It's not.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no,
Gross.
not down with
Gross.
that. Yeah.
No.
But like I don't know, and like I was talking about this with Liam McEnany on he the first episode I did as an interview. I don't think I'm in the position to forgive Louis C.K. It's not my responsibility.
No.
In that,
It
yeah,
neither of us are
Yeah.
on the demographic of people who get to forgive Louis C.K. because
Eh.
he has to be forgiven by the women he hurt.
Exactly. And I know.
Those are like no one gives a shit what I have to
Yeah.
say about Louis C.K. and no one should.
Yeah, I that's but there was a time, like there was a good like 3-year stretch, like people actually cared what everybody's opinions were.
Yeah,
But
Louis C.K. is still touring, by the way.
yeah, but
I know a guy who opens for him.
wow.
Not Joe
Yeah.
List.
Yeah.
Joe List also opens for him.
Brian Callen, no.
Yeah, Brian Callen.
Dude, I was I was at a mic recently. It was an outdoor mic, and he walked by, like he just randomly walked by, and his eyes were glowing. Like, I can't believe there are people who love this craft enough to do this right now. And what one of the comics was trying to get him, but you could tell he was like very like he kind of like, I don't know if I could do this right now.
Like a part of
Yeah.
him was like, I should do it outdoors and then
Yeah.
try to be among like almost like he thought his forgiveness song was gonna be to just start over. Like he's like,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm gonna start doing park mics,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna work my way up, and then
Yeah.
I'm gonna just be a
Just
doorman
climb the
again.
ladder.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I do know one of the women from the New York Times article, the Louis C.K. article, personally. Very nice
Oh, that's
lady.
unfortunate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't tell her to forgive her, and it's not. I think that's it's going to be one of those things when like time is going to have to. It's going to be. I don't know. It's weird for me to even comment on it. Like.
Yeah.
But there just was a time when, if you were writing like people would write online articles about something completely irrelevant, and they would somehow shoehorn Louis C.K.'s name into it for whatever reason, and it would get hits.
Yeah, that was kind of the bad part about everything that happened with him is like people were using him as everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, he's a scumbag, but like you can't shoehorn everything into it being about him.
Yeah. And like from everything that I've ever heard, he knows he fucked up badly. And yeah, I heard one of his kids doesn't talk to him, which I would like. That's a whole layer. Like that has to hit close to home, no matter who you are.
Dude, that's probably so terrible too, because like now that I think about it, his kids are young, but they're like young teenagers. So probably the older one was just of the age of like dating and things like that. Like she was probably coming around to that age, and then to find out like to learn what sex was in the same year you learned your dad was a sex criminal, probably really hard to swallow.
But I can't imagine, like, being a kid and having a parent who's in, like, the public eye in that context. Like, that just has, that's material for therapy.
Yo, very much so.
So, material, I don't know if that's the right term, but
that's topic for therapy. There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. This is we've
gotten weird.
Very, very good discussion. What were we gonna say? I was trying to seamlessly.
Yeah, we got weird.
Yeah, we totally did. No, This is a very, very good talk. I'm glad you're one of my better friends in comedy, and I'm really glad you were on the podcast. Welcome
You know
to the
what? Thanks
Crescendo.
for thanks for having me, Ian. You are
Yeah.
one of my better friends. You're one of the people. You're probably top 10 people I've talked to the most since COVID has happened. Definitely professionally.
No, oh
So
yeah. No, yeah, you're
this
always
has been a
welcome
great
back
podcast.
on the Crescendo with Ian Ira Rousso if you ever want to shoot the Yeah.
I'd love to be back. Thanks for
Yeah,
having me.
I can't emphasize enough though. Retreat from the Sun by That Dog. It is as close.
I will listen to.
Yeah, I would
I'll,
bold statement. I think Retreat from the Sun by That Dog is better than the Blue album. Hold me to it.
you know what? I'm gonna listen to it while making dinner in a couple minutes, and
I set
I
it
will
to an
message you.
unrealistic standard, but I promise, yeah.
Oh,
No,
I will. You'll get a message from me in the next couple hours where I'm like either like you're right or never talk to me again.
Yeah. No, my friend Justin, which to give you an idea of how good an album is, how good this of an album is, how often does somebody call you about anything?
Never, unless you're over 50, no one calls me. And then if you call me and you're under 50, I assume someone's dead.
Okay, exactly. Like Justin Canigliaro from Up for Nothing. I told him about the record on a previous episode. The next day, he called me and was just like, "I just listened to Retreat from the Sun. It's fucking good."
All right, then I'll listen to it.
Oh, okay. So, is there anything you would like to plug?
Plugging stuff. I'll be at Flapper's virtual Yoo-Hoo room at 7:30 Pacific time on Saturday the 30th. I'm doing a clean. You can just follow me on all my social media. I put it all there. I'm doing a clean show on February 3rd on Zoom. Website's joshfcomedy.com, and then Josh F Comedy on all social media. Follow me.
Okay, right on.
Occasionally.
Dude, I will see you soon. Well, what music's been getting through? What music has been getting through the you know what I'm asking.
What have I been listening to throughout the pandemic?
Rate and subscribe.